Today, the lesson involves writers generate a conclusion paragraph by including a transition, restating the thesis, including the topic sentences, and including the call to action. And the majority of today's lesson is going to focus on the call to action. But before we get to the call to action, we will include the transition and the restating the thesis. So in your argument paragraph, conclusion argument paragraph, start with your transition. If you like the phrase in conclusion, that works. In conclusion, comma, school uniforms are not necessary. There's my transition and my thesis has been restated. Next, I want to include the topic sentences. Requiring students to wear school uniforms violates students' freedom to express themselves. Furthermore, there is not any data to prove that school uniforms improve the school environment. And the last part of the conclusion, adopt a new business process, sponsor an event, attend an event. Attending an event, I think about like pet rescue organizations. They will host events to raise money to fund all of the food and items that are necessary to keep a pet rescue organization going. So they asking people to attend an event and donate to silent auctions would be helpful. Fund a research initiative, register to vote, join a club. Those are also calls to action that you could utilize. Train for a marathon, read out loud to your own children, cousins, relatives. Donate money to a charity. Travel to Saskatchewan. Not sure how that is a call to action, but it's kind of comical. Buy a fire extinguisher, eat more vegetables, use public transit. So these are just examples. They won't necessarily work for your call to action, but these are just examples of what you could do. So I have some examples that seventh graders have used in the past. This person wrote about junk food. To conclude, eating junk food is not healthy. Because of eating junk food, there are many health problems. Furthermore, eating junk food can cause other issues. Here's the call to action. In order to stay healthy and stay away from the consequences of eating junk food, next time you're at the grocery store, think about choosing healthier foods such as fruits and vegetables. So this particular writer told the reader what they can do to make positive changes in their life. Super simple, super easy. Go to the grocery store, buy healthier foods such as fruits and vegetables. Great job with a very specific yet simple call to action. This one, another seventh grader wrote, lastly, puppy mills are violent and inhumane because it is not sanitary and safe, and dogs are forced to breed and live in constant fear. Instead of going to a puppy mill breeder, go to a rescue shelter to adopt your next pet to help make the mills go out of business. So this was definitely a perfect problem solution. The problem is puppy mills exist. They're not safe. They're not sanitary. You can solve the problem by adopting your next pet from a rescue shelter. Simple and to the point. Another call to action example. This one has to do with skin cancer or cancer in general. In conclusion, exposure to ultraviolet radiation is harmful to human health. Exposure to ultraviolet radiation in any form causes dangerous skin cancers, premature skin aging, and cataracts. There is not any evidence to show that ultraviolet radiation has health benefits greater than the risks. To protect yourself, wear sunscreen daily on any exposed skin to reduce your chances of getting skin cancer. This particular person, their call to action is is superb because it's simple. People can easily purchase sunscreen and wear it on a daily basis. Another call to action example, this one has to do with drunk driving penalties are ineffective. And so the individual has hope if the reader is in agreement, then what's underlined in green, in order to make sure the penalties are effective, call 1-887 MAD help. This ensures the effectiveness of the drunk driving penalties. So this individual chose to tell the reader that they can call or write to an organization that will help solve the problem. So writers generate a conclusion by including a transition, restating the thesis, including the topic sentences, including a call to action. So a call to action is a sentence that instructs the reader to perform a task. A call to action is absolutely crucial because once you've hooked your audience, they need to know what steps to take in order to make a difference. So my conclusion paragraph. In conclusion, school uniforms are not necessary. Requiring students to wear school uniforms violates students' freedom to express themselves. Furthermore, there is not any data to prove that school uniforms improve the school environment. So, my last sentence is the call to action. I want it to be simple. I want it to be something that the reader can do easily and quickly. And so, kind of like the drunk driving penalties, that particular seventh grader encouraged the reader to contact 1-887 MAD to help support the organization that's trying to establish stricter penalties for drunk drivers. I am going to encourage the reader to write or call their local school board member, because the school board member is the person that must approve school uniforms. And so I'm going to tell the reader to contact their local school board and say no to school uniforms. So, in order to continue to let students enjoy the freedom to express themselves, contact your local school board and say no to school uniforms. So, the last sentence, you instruct your reader to perform a task. Make it simple and be specific. In order to continue to let students enjoy the freedom to express themselves, contact your local school board and say no to school uniforms. So now it's your turn to generate a conclusion paragraph by including a transition, restating the thesis, including the topic sentences, and ending with a call to action. You can get started. The conclusion paragraph is that you include the call to action. The acronym CTA represents call to action. So, what is a call to action? A call to action is an explicit appeal to your audience, to your reader. You are telling your reader to take a specific action. And the call to action is most often made at the conclusion of an argument paper. So, if you have done a fantastic job of persuading your reader with textual evidence that supports the argument, explaining how and why the textual evidence supports the argument, that persuasive evidence will engage your reader. Your reader will then be interested in taking action. So, call to action, you want it to be simple. You want to give the reader a simple yet easy way to follow through on the call to action. So some of the examples would be adopt a new business process,